Hey, today on the Leslie and Lisa show, we have a hilarious guest.
And my tooth hurts.
So stay tuned.
Welcome to the Leslie and Lisa show.
Hey, welcome to the Leslie and Lisa show, the show where we talk about anything and everything because nothing is off limits. And Lisa shimmies her shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Morning, Lisa. No, actually, it's afternoon.
It is afternoon. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm a little stressed these days. We're always stressed. You know what? It ebbs and flows. There are days where it's great, days where it's stressed. I feel like today is just, I just feel a little on edge with COVID and vaccines.
Yeah.
It's like that feeling like, I don't know how to articulate, but have you ever been like, oh, there's going to be something that you could get in on, like something you could buy, and they're going to launch it at noon today. So be ready to go at noon.
Yes.
So anytime I see anything that comes out about like sign up for the vaccine or whatever, I feel like I'm like, oh my God, I got to get signed up. I got to get
right.
it.
And we should say we're recording this January 19th. It probably won't post until the end of February.
January 13th. Don't move the week ahead.
Sorry. So we hope that by the time this posts, that
maybe we could be vaccinated.
We will be. Look,
I pray that my mother.
That's what I was just going to say.
That our parents will have been vaccinated.
Absolutely. Yes. By then. Absolutely. And then, and then you, because you're over 50, and then me.
Yes. It's the one time where I'm like, yeah. I'm that box. That's
hilarious.
You're not.
I'm not. I'm not. I lose. So, what's interesting to me too, is I have had to go do a couple maintenance things this week. I had to go to the chiropractor because I was in terrible pain. And yesterday I had to go to the dentist because I'm in terrible pain.
Mm-hmm.
And me no likey going places where I have to be in a room with someone.
No, I have to, tomorrow's my big day of mammogram, ultrasound, and then I see the doctor. So I'm there for a solid 3 hours.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that totally wants to just cancel it, but I know that I can't. There's certain things that you
shouldn't
maintain.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't gotten my teeth cleaned. It's been a year almost.
I didn't want to say anything, but we're getting emails.
It's smell-o-vision. You can smell it through there.
By the way, while we're sitting here chatting, first of all, nobody ever gets to see how cute my shirt is. And I just want to show you.
Oh, I love that. Oh, and you just showed everybody your boobages.
Those were my boobs. I know what I was going to say.
Oh, no.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, you're all see-through.
All see-through-y.
That's cute. I like it.
Anyways,
I guess the only time you wear a bra is when you're wearing something see-through.
I literally was like, I know nobody will see that I'm not wearing a bra, but what in case I do, like jump up or something?
That would have been because I am planning on saying some surprising things later that might make that happen. But while we are waiting for our illustrious guest.
Yes. Is she in the waiting room yet?
Not yet. So okay. I'm going to take this time to tell everyone about our Facebook page, the Leslie and Lisa Show After Party.
We love a good after party.
And we really want people to join because look, I'm not saying anything, but we might be having some giveaways once we get 100 members of that group. We're going to start doing some giveaways. Now, is that fair to the 44 who are already there? Probably
no,
not.
They actually should all get a mug, but we can't afford it.
You get a mug, you get a mug. But yes, we can't afford it.
You get a mug. She kind of goes into some weird kind of Cher-ish, I don't know, voice.
It's almost Cher meets Kermit.
Yes, exactly. So, we've discussed, by the way, is Kate there yet, or should we just keep blabbing on? Okay. So, we've discussed that, or maybe we haven't aired any of those shows yet, but, Zoom sort of sucks the life out of you in a lot of ways. I have a shit ton of makeup on, as you always know, but on Zoom, it barely looks like I have anything on.
Right.
I have the brightest pink lipstick on right now just so it'll come across as pink. And I've just noticed.
Oh, it's so now we can see it on your mug, but we can't see it on that mug.
I was like, holy shit, that's pink.
That is so and by the way, I went crazy with this with the shimmery today. I just couldn't
Can't see none of it.
Can't see it. Gosh darn it.
No.
When are they going to do Zoom filters so we can have we can look like?
We do have Zoom filters. My girlfriend Andrea, not that kind of stuff, just showed me last night. Look, I'm going to do this right now. I hope I don't mess anything up by doing this.
If you do, you're in so much trouble.
But here's what I'm going to do. Here, watch. See? Did it happen? Oh, hello.
Oh, adorable.
And now I'll be like a
shark.
Yeah, I'm going to be a unicorn. That's what I've always wanted to be, a unicorn.
See, now I don't think my operating system can handle any of that because I tried to do backgrounds and it wouldn't let me. So
Oh, I can't do a virtual background either, which is why she led me to the whole, oh, well, can you do this? And that I could do. I could add filters, but I can't do the So last night we were doing a Zoom birthday party for one of my girlfriends. And so what we all do is we everybody on there puts a picture, like my girlfriend Andrea sort of organizes everything, and she sent everybody all these pictures. So you put up a background of a picture.
Yes.
And then we're all celebrating my girlfriend's birthday and we've all got pictures. Well, I can't get the virtual background. So I had to take my ring light and literally I had to do this to get it to, I literally had to go like this. And it was I had to sit like that. It was the only way I could get me into with the background behind me.
I see. Because I play poker on Zoom, and whenever anybody has a birthday at poker, everybody puts up a background of pictures, and I always just print it out and hold it up to camera. So we're on the same page. Yeah. Kate is here, and I just want to say that was an example of Leslie and I starting the show maybe a little too early and filling time. But as you can see, we didn't skip a beat because we can't.
Sure didn't. All right, let's introduce our guest. She is hilarious. She's probably most famously known as Meredith from The Office. She's had, as Lisa said, an illustrious career. She is hilarious. And you rooted for her on Dancing with the Stars, or you better have rooted for her on Dancing with the Stars. And then she went on the Dancing with the Stars tour. We bring her in, Kate Flannery. Oh, you know what I didn't say she did? My sister.
Oh, right. Hi, Kate.
Can you hear us?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Look, it's Kate Flannery. She's on our show.
Exciting. You know what? I didn't say when I was introducing her, talked obviously about Meredith on The Office and Dancing with the Stars, but really, Kate was on a show called Kevin Probably Saves the World, which I was also on, and we played sisters.
I can totally see that, by the way.
Right?
Yes. The coloring.
She had texted me during when we were recording, and she was like, if you and I ever had a baby, it would look like, and up pops a picture of Andrea McArdle.
Perfect.
You know who that is, Lisa? Or
say that again?
Andrea is like our third sister, the original Annie from Broadway, for sure.
Or you remember who Andrea McArdle is?
Well, now if I say no, I'm going to look like an idiot because I just was like, perfect.
Original Annie from Broadway.
She's the original Annie from Broadway. And you would know her the second you saw her.
Hilarious. Or you would look like
I have a picture somewhere. I have to find it. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Let's see who finds it first, because I have it on our text.
Okay, I got the piano music to Annie.
Go find the Annie music. No, you do it. I'm going to leave it to you. Look at how beautiful Kate's house is.
It's gorgeous.
See, this is the part of Zoom I actually love, because my God, Kate, your house is beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
What's that picture to,
it's behind you,
but it's to your left. What is that?
Oh, right behind is Judy Garland and Jack Parr. It's from the original Tonight Show.
Oh, I love it. And the mantle on your fireplace is gorgeous.
Well, thanks.
I mean, your house really does. It looks like it's been staged.
It does.
Well, my LA is not everybody's LA. I live in what is used to be called South Hollywood, but it's Koreatown, and it's a lot of old 1920s buildings. And I have a view of downtown particularly at night, it's really gorgeous. So it's very city here. It's not.
No, you are absolutely right. By the way, I love K-Town. Everything, well, there's some things I don't love, but I love everything about Koreatown, and the architecture is so fantastic.
It's like I'm like I'm a former New Yorker, and I just fell in love with it. It's like you can have it all. And I mean, I don't have any outside space, but they let this building go condo, so we actually own our units. But it's like
That's so New York.
It's really fun. It's kind of like the Upper West Side apartment I could have never afforded.
Exactly.
It's so interesting because I grew up and still live in the Valley, and same with Leslie, although she lived in New York for a while, but like
on the Upper West Side, by the way, in a fabulous apartment.
But when you live here in the Valley, you feel like that where you are, what I'm looking at, I feel like that doesn't exist here, but it totally does.
Yeah, it does. Well, because Lisa, so much of our, like, she's in K-Town and downtown. There's so much history. Have you ever driven through downtown? It's beautiful. The architecture,
oh my gosh,
the buildings and everything. But unlike New York, we here in California, we like to tear everything that's old down and build new.
Yes.
So true. It's so true.
And there's so much beauty in all of this architecture. It's stunning.
It is stunning.
Even the trim on your walls, I can see, and it reminds me very much of New York.
Right. Oh my gosh. I know. It's from 1928. It's a French, there was the French designer that built this building and the building next door. So next door is a lot of 1-bedrooms and studio apartments. And they have those great old windows, those, the ones that push out. I can't remember what they're called, but anyway.
Oh yeah.
It's so Rear Window to me when I look at, because you can see there's like Miss Lonely Hearts. It's like that Alfred Hitchcock movie. It's so ridiculous.
That's so awesome. It makes me feel so boring.
You have a doorman?
I don't have a doorman. No, you don't have one. Yeah. So close.
All right, Kate, I got a question for you. I'm gonna start the questioning off.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions too.
Well, it's good that we both have questions because it's a fucking talk show. Yeah. Okay, so you're from Philly originally, is that right? So now how old were you when you left Philly?
Oh, it was after college. I mean, I went away to college for 2 years in Virginia and then came back to Philadelphia for, I ended up transferring back and finished college in Philadelphia. But yeah, I think it was like 1989. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a few.
Is that when you headed to Chicago to go to
Chicago? Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to ask a few Philly-centric questions because one of our first guests, Ralph Garman, is also from Philly, as is my mom.
Oh my gosh.
So,
and I toured with Ralph, and Ralph had been in my dad's bar because he went to college right near where my dad's bar was. I'm a bar's daughter. I can't by playing an alcoholic, very honestly.
Wait, exactly. Was it called Flannery's? Was it called Flannery's?
Yep, Flannery's Tavern. And then my brother had a bar called T.A. Flannery's where my dad was like semi-retired, and he worked there for like the last 15 years he worked. He's still alive, but he like stopped working in 87. Crazy.
That is amazing. And I saw when you were on, was it the show with Jane Lynch? And we'll talk about all of this later, but you mentioned
you did talk about that.
Yes, and it made me laugh very hard. But so I'm going to ask you a couple Philly-centric questions that we asked Ralph. And then I want to know what you toured with him on, because I don't think I did know that. Okay. Soft pretzels with or without mustard?
With. But it has to be brown mustard. I mean, I'll still eat it if it's really yellow, but I prefer brown mustard.
100%. Are you a Philly cheesesteak girl?
I am. I don't do Geno's or Pat's. My favorite is Jim's Steaks on South Street.
I think they mentioned that.
Ralph said that too.
Say that again?
Did Ralph say that too?
I don't think so.
I feel like the real Philly, I don't know. He might have.
Okay, we'll revisit that with Ralph.
Yes, we will.
And are you a fan of water ice? And did I say that right?
You did, hon. Water ice is Italian and it's delicious. And if you like cherry or Coke flavor, sometimes they play.
I'm telling it's so crazy that Philly. I can always tell when somebody's from Philly
or Cincinnati
or even like Baltimore has that. Like you're all so kind of fruity. There's something back there,
right? And I always
fun.
On my favorite Philly accent sentence this week right now is my daughter goes to gymnastics class.
I mentioned this before. I think I might have, but I grew up saying horror films. And my mom says it's horror.
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 What's wrong with you? Why are you calling yourself a whore?
That's what my mom, that is what she said. It sounds like you're talking about a prostitute. It's horror.
And it's so weird because you say horror, which then just is so beckons the East. It's like sounds Jersey, New Yorky, horror,
Right.
orange.
Yeah, there is some crossover. Philly, New York, New Jersey. Yeah, there's definitely some words.
Just a little further down the 95.
Yes. Okay, so you leave Philadelphia after college, and do you go directly to Chicago?
My mom's sister, my Aunt Ann, my favorite aunt, she was like my Auntie Mame. She thought Second City would be a good fit for me, and she lived in Chicago, so she sent me a ticket, and I remember I just went to check it out, and it completely changed my life. I was like,
so your aunt, she can take full credit for your career.
Absolutely. I mean, the greatest. And like, I just, I got to live with her my first few months there, and I remember like the first week I went to check out Second City, she took me to a Barbara Cook concert. I was like, bah! I lost my mind. I mean, we used to go to the art museum, the Art Institute in Chicago. I mean, she worked at the Museum of Contemporary Art. She was a docent.
Oh, she's fantastic.
She was the greatest.
I'm taking it she's passed away then, the way you're.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, she used to do her winters here, like the last 10 years of her life. She used to come to Santa Monica every January till March, kind of do the snowbird thing. She had a few friends that did that. So I see her everywhere, which is great.
She get to see your success?
Yes, she did.
I'm seriously gonna lose it. This is
I know that is so.
I know.
So Kate, obviously, good Irish Catholic girl. Okay, tell me, are you a true ginger?
You know what? I'm ginger adjacent. I always had red highlights, but I was never like a bright red. I have three. There are 6 girls in my family and 1 brother, and it was like the dark hairs and the redhead. So I was always considered a dark hair. But you know what? Anybody can be a redhead now.
I was just gonna. Hello. Me too. I could be nasty, but I'm not going to say it. Anyways,
or as a redhead, I mean, it's like you're a type. You kind of like let people know who you really, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Exactly. Does redhead generally mean to you ladies like a little more body, a little more
fiery?
Just funny. Just like it's just a category sometimes.
True. I agree. I didn't go red until I think it was 1992. My best friend from college was also not a redhead, but she dyed her hair was always so fabulous. And I was always like, I think I need that color. And then I did a movie where they literally, they made me a platinum blonde and then some disgusting, ashy brown over it. And my hair was so fried and disgusting that after I was done with that movie, I was like, okay, now I'm going to go be a redhead. And it's 3 years later, I'm still a redhead.
I love it. The best decision ever.
I love it.
Ever. So what was it in you when you were growing up in Philadelphia that let your aunt so surely know that you were going to make it as a comedian?
I don't know if she knew I was going to make it, but I think she wanted to support my path. And, I wanted to be a kid actor, and I would always go to auditions from the time I was 13 on. I would go to auditions. I was obsessed with Annie. And a lot of the girls that were in the original cast on Broadway were from Philadelphia. I think half of them were.
Really? Okay, so you're one of 7. Any other siblings that were interested in, or was it just you?
No, it's just me.
Wow.
And I would take 3 buses to I remember I started working in a Chinese restaurant when I was in 8th grade because my mom said, I'm already paying for tap and piano. If you want to sing, you got to figure it out. You got to give something up. I was like, I'm not giving up anything. So I worked in a Chinese restaurant. My older sisters worked in this restaurant. We're still friends with the family, and I worked there forever.
Fantastic.
And then I took lessons from one of the coaches that taught the girls in Annie.
Unbelievable. And let me just say how good parenting comes from parents and your village, but how that kind of support, but even your mom saying, I'm not going to do this for you. If you want it, you'll do it yourself. That's friggin' amazing.
Absolutely. And, I feel like I remember feeling like, stifled, or like, cause I ended up working in a dinner theater when I was a senior in high school. I did get cast and I was like, please, 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 doing like 8 and sometimes 9 shows a week. And she was really hard on me about it. She's like, you got to keep your grades up. You got to, you keep your applications for college.
Amazing.
I remember being so upset with her, but I'm telling you, every time I work with a kid actor and I see their parents, I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
100%. By the way, Lisa, I don't know how it was with your parents, but same with me, Kate. I knew from apparently a very young age, I used to say to my mom, I want to be an actress. I want to be an actress. And I would sing. We had a player piano, like an old vintage player piano. So I'd sit down at the player piano and sing. And I just wanted to do all of that. And my mom was supportive, but she was basically, I did everything in junior high, high school, I was in all the school plays. And then when I said, I want to go do something, she was like, okay, well, I'm not taking you. If you really want it, you'll go to college. And if it's really something you want, you'll, when you're able and when you're old enough to pursue that on your own, you'll go do it. And that's what I did.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, it's like, I think I used to think she was overprotective, not over, appropriately protective. I think there's so many weird things for kids that, obviously some stories need to be told, and I'm glad to have some actors, children that have told those stories. But, unless you have that Cinderella story where you're plucked out of a crowd and get some life-changing gig as a kid, just wait, because I didn't know how to sing. Like, I really had to learn, and I feel like I still am a student of voice. And I use like all those things I learned, because I don't think I'm just great. I also think like sometimes when you lack ability when you're younger and you work harder, then you get a longer trajectory. It's the kids that sort of have this instant gratification thing. They're good, they get accolades. They don't work hard. They don't continue to work. They just kind of they kind of stop at a certain point.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Amazing.
I didn't know that till later, but I was like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. And I'm still,
By the way, you're a fantastic singer.
Oh, thank you so much.
So great.
You're so sweet. I feel like I never really sang as myself until Jane Lynch asked me to be in her act 6 years ago. Like, I'm not kidding, because I did the Lampshades, my comedy lounge act.
Right.
And I sang in when I was in Chicago. We did a lot of musicals that made fun of musicals. But I feel like I never sang without a wig on,
Right.
Exactly. No, we both watched some of the shows and stuff with Jane. And then wait, you did some Peggy Lee. Was it a Peggy Lee cover?
I did something for the Peggy Lee Centennial. Actually, they sent me a bunch of Peggy Lee Christmas cookies. So sweet. Yeah, it was such an honor. I'm like, oh my God, I hope this is like.
Oh, you sounded amazing.
I have to tell you, this is the truth. I listened to that 3 times because it made me so happy. Your rendition of that was so just like, what is the word that I thought when it was just pure. It was so sweet and joyful. I really did. I listened to it 3 times and it cheered me up so much.
Oh my God, you're so sweet. You're seriously, I mean, I have to tell you, getting to sing with Jane Lynch is like one of the great joys of my life. We have played the Kennedy Center. We played the Carlisle Hotel in New York. We played, like over, probably 50 cities.
Where did you meet her? How did that start?
Actually, the very first time I went to Second City, we figured this out years later. I became her understudy when we were in Chicago, but the very, very, very first time I went to Second City, she was understudying Bonnie Hunt. And it was the day that Bonnie Hunt got married. And so for the improv set, like they would do a set show every night. And then the last hour of the night was all improvisation. So I went to the improv set and Bonnie Hunt came back in her wedding dress to do the improv set. She came to do us with the wedding party, which had like Mike Myers. It was nuts. And I remember going like, what the, so I saw Jane the very first time I went to Second City, which is nuts.
I was saying to Lisa, it's so amazing, the comedy geniuses that came out of both Second City and Chicago, and then out of the Groundlings here in Los Angeles.
Totally.
It's really impressive when you see the lists of people.
Yeah. I mean, I think about who was around when I was like Stephen Colbert. Of course, Steve Carell was at Second City when I was there. We were in different casts, but I knew him. But like, I mean, oh my God, Amy Sedaris and Nia Vardalos. I mean, there were so many great.
So amazing.
Garrett, my son took some classes there when we lived there. My husband was working there, so we lived there for 3 months, and my son took improv classes for 6 weeks. And we were going through the halls and he was like, oh my God, he's from here. She's from here. Like, cause you know, the pictures are lining and he was in shock. And I was like, yeah, buddy, this is where like they all started.
Right.
Impressive.
I never knew who was gonna, I mean, you don't even know you're in a heyday until after the day, you know?
Absolutely.
Incredible. All right, so let's segue then to Meredith. I mean, what by the way, what was your audition process like for that?
I initially auditioned for the part of Jan. Clearly they went a different way, but Allison Jones said to me, I don't know if this is your part, but I feel like you're really right for this show. So I was not in the pilot. I ended up replacing somebody for the pilot, but they kind of did a rewrite or something. So so I auditioned and they literally said no makeup. And you know, when they say no makeup, usually it's like some mascara and some lip gloss and some foundation. No makeup.
Right.
Like, take it off. Allison Jones, like take it off.
Holy cow.
So real. And I saw 2 actresses I knew from Chicago and I was like, they're going to get this. I'm not going to get it. And then I got a call by the time I got home to go to another place and do it again. And then by the time I got home, I got a call right away to say I got it. But I didn't know what it was yet because I didn't know. I think they were
Meredith didn't really exist yet. Is that it?
She did, but I didn't know what you know. There were probably 6 of us where we technically were not regulars, even though we were in every episode at first.
Right.
The guest stars. So I kind of felt like I was, you know, like if I replace somebody, maybe I could be replaced. So
Sure.
So I wasn't sure, but they told us to bring, Greg Daniels told us to bring paperwork. So literally the first season, I'm like doing my tax forms. I'm doing like any like annoying thing. I'm just, so literally, because they wanted the cameras to catch us working. They didn't want us to suddenly start working when the cameras are near you.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like, it's very meta, it's very method, it's very like, but it kind of creates the stability of the reality of the show.
Sure.
You know, and then, you know, and
What-
just to be part of it was so amazing. The first season was so cool.
What does it feel like after 10 years of doing a show that's such an ensemble like that? And look, I mean, I know this is kind of a pat question, but I really want to know, what is it like when a show like that ends and you are parting for the last time?
I'll tell you, one thing I'm super proud of, you know, when shows have long runs, like shows like Happy Days and stuff, sometimes people morph, characters morph, and suddenly they're expositional when they were more, they had a different thing going on. I love that they never lost the chess game of my character. That doesn't mean that I didn't have some episodes where I talked more, but basically they kept, whatever they were doing with Meredith, where there was just a less is more thing. I never felt like you out or welcome. And I feel like I learned on that job, it was very zen because I learned to stop counting lines. Because even if my lines would get cut, I felt like I still had a presence. There was something about the way they were shooting it that it was like, no, I'm in the mid, like people still noticed, or like I would still get a laugh. So
yes,
like just having that sense of trust. So I'm just so proud that I was part of something that not only honored me in the sense that like they knew how to use it. There was sometimes like I wouldn't speak for weeks and all of a sudden there was something really wonderful waiting for me. It's kind of a great metaphor for life. It's,
yeah.
And I understand how people fight for the right to, you know, show up and do all that stuff. But I feel like for me, it was a real lesson in just trust the process. So,
that's
you know,
amazing.
I feel like you just gave us like some beautiful, brilliant nugget.
Yes.
Well, I mean, this is the beauty of being 40 years old and getting your first big TV show, because it's not like I was a kid. I was like, how can I figure this out? Because literally, you know, it's like sometimes things don't change, but we have to change ourselves inside to figure out what's right about where we are. Because I knew there were so many right things about it.
Yep.
So it's
well, and you did, like, there were some very Meredith centric episodes, like, you know, when they're doing the intervention with you, with the lice episode, like there's a good many. And then, like you said, there are so many where you genuinely are so significant. Oh my God, the episode where you're sleeping with that guy for years for steaks.
right.
Yeah. Like, but even like, it's so great what you're saying, because I feel like you were such a big part of that thing.
A lot of those characters were.
Oh, absolutely.
They could have paid like extras to have a red wig and just show the back of the head, because if I didn't speak for a while, like I kept thinking like, oh my God, like they could be saving so much money. I could be recurring, but it was just so wonderfully original in that respect and also just like so true to life where, this was technically a documentary. And if you're work with people, you don't know everybody. Not everybody has the same amount of time. They don't speak to you equally in your day.
Absolutely.
Someplace. So I just loved how it really reflected a real experience of being in a workplace.
Absolutely. And I think one of the reasons is why it has such a long life. I mean, that show is on forever.
Well, we'll see. I don't know, but I just feel like it's interesting. We're really the first of like the streaming royalty, because we were the number one streaming show on Netflix for so long. We recently just went to Peacock, and I'm like, I hope people still watch. I hope people
of course they are, because they're just new generations. Like my daughter's 12 and a half, and now she and all of her friends are starting to watch The Office. Like it's always going to come back.
It's so trippy. Yeah, I mean, I sure hope so, because I think the writers really treat the audience like they're smart.
Yes.
Subtleties, and you can watch the same thing over like a couple times and not have noticed something. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, like, I've even posted stuff, and then people are like, oh my God, I didn't notice that one thing. Like it's just
okay. So what's the craziest? I mean, you did a lot of crazy shit on that show. How about like constantly like showing your lady parts and stuff?
Like all I can say is the flashing. My parents were like, oh, they're so Catholic, and they were on the East Coast. And I would call them like right before it would air, because I didn't want to give them time to be upset.
Oh,
I'm assuming you were really doing flashing, and they just blur it out for post-production, right?
A little bit of moleskin, but not much. Let's just say that the camera guys didn't give me a lot of eye contact at lunch those days. I was like, but it was kind of like jumping out of an airplane. I was like, we're doing this? Okay, we're doing this.
You really were like, talk about that redhead. You were a body and brash and fucking fat.
Again, like the writing was so smart that like, I just remember when we did Casual Friday, and not only was I top of the glass and bend over,
bottom too.
There are no panties. I'm like, what the hell is happening? This is bonkers.
I love it.
I love it. That was a great scene.
Yeah, it's so well written, like so well written.
So well written.
And the thing is, like, you just don't, again, when you're working with a great group of people, great producers, great writers, great directors, like you can trust that you're not going to have to micromanage all that time in 9 years. And that doesn't mean you don't have an opinion or have an idea to express, but at the same time, it's like Mario Andretti is driving the car. You're in the passenger seat. Like, really, do you really want to tell him how to drive?
Sure. But were there times where they go, Kate, do another one, but this time just make it your own. Just go do something crazy.
Sometimes I got to improvise a little bit. And I feel like it was just a couple times, but I feel like I was very proud of what made it on camera. What made it in the episode, like even like the first season that during the healthcare episode, I was like, because he said something about an inverted penis. Do I treat about inverted penis?
Yes. And you were like, that's a
uterus, because I want that. Uterus is different from a vagina.
Yes.
I remember like we sort of improvised. That's it. Like that was very rare that we kind of got to work.
Was improvised? Oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah, the whole like uterus is different from vagina was.
Right.
Also, like when in season 2, when the first time you see Meredith just like talk about how her talking head in the Christmas episode where she says, I'm gonna give up drinking during the week. Like I added during the week because I thought it was funnier. It's like an old joke, but it's funny.
I love it.
But you know what I mean? But it's also like real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
And the way the show is written, the whole thing feels improvised, and that's what's so beautiful about it.
And I always say like it's like I don't want to take too much credit for improvising, because I almost feel like it's like you've been laid this beautiful carpet and a parade is going down the carpet, and you just have to follow the carpet. And if you
Yes.
take a few extra steps, don't pat yourself on the back too hard. Don't break your arm, pat yourself on the back.
Right.
Exactly. All right, now we have to talk with Dancing with the Stars. I have a ton of questions. When you and I spoke, sorry, I'm tongue tied today. COVID sort of shut you down. You were on tour, right?
Tour, yeah. Although I had done 44 of my 54 shows, so I felt pretty good. I did most of them, and I had more shows than I had more of the tour than any of the other celebrities from the season. So I was like, and also I was 55. I'm like, oh my god, like how did I?
Exactly. Okay, so here's the thing: when you got the call to do Dancing with the Stars, was your first reaction like, not a fucking
Like, there's no way. I have not done cardio in so long. Like, I'm screwed.
I want you to know that all I could I kind of am somebody who ebbs and flows with my viewing of Dancing with the Stars. I was totally into it when it started. When I knew you were on it, I absolutely watched. But it's funny because I get so nervous for you guys, and I would think to myself, if I ever got a call to be on Dancing with the Stars, you never know, I'd be like, no fucking way, I can't do that. First of all, I'm like 50 something. I've had 2 kids, and I'll piddle all over myself if I have to go like jumping and God knows what around the stick.
I would need to go on Diapers with the Stars. That's a different show.
Okay, so you said yes.
I did. They actually met with me, and I was like, and the meeting was going longer than 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, this isn't just like some sort of, checking off the box. Like,
do they care? I don't think they do, because I've seen other people. They don't care if you have any dance skills or if you have any rhythm or anything.
They don't. And I hadn't danced really since college. So I felt like I was like, and again, I had not done much cardio, and it was a rough, when the day I got the call was so tough because I was at home in Philadelphia. My sister Nancy was in hospice. It was really tough. Actually, she had been sick for a few years, but she was really handling it. And then all of a sudden I was home for Memorial Day, and I'm like, oh, things have changed. Like, so, most everybody, actually all of my family, we were all there for 5 weeks with her every day. And I literally got the call driving back from the funeral. I'm like, not only was like, can I do it because of cardio? I'm like, I can't think about this right now. I can't even get out of bed. Like, what the hell?
God.
I almost felt like it was a gift from her because somehow it worked out. That when I was back with my dad a few weeks later, like I found somebody to just kind of help me slowly work out, like this trainer in Ocean City, New Jersey. And, and Donna was like, we're just, literally left foot, right foot. And I thought, I could still get eliminated the first episode. And, it's so personal and it's so intense.
Yes. All right. So it is so intense. I can't even imagine. How long do you really have to learn a dance and practice it? And then you must go on set being like, or on stage live going, please don't fuck this up.
Yeah, seriously. The first dances you get the most time, but then you're the most out of it because you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. It's 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you have 2 weeks, and then they bump it up to 6 days a week, 6 hours a day. And then you go 8 hours a day, 6 days. You don't, and then you really don't end up having a day off because you do the show Monday night, and then Tuesday morning,
and then there's so many questions.
Well, I was going to say that begs the question, which is the first thing I honestly thought I wanted to ask you was, are you ever standing there when they're voting and going, please, dear God, let this be my last episode?
Well, you know what? I did make a plan. At a certain point, like I felt like if I get taken off, I was working so hard, and I felt like, you know what, at a certain point, I was like, I'm okay if I'm like, I feel like I've at least.
You're like, if I go before Sean Spicer, I have an issue.
Yeah, that was tough. Because
I have other
dates was tweeting, asking people to vote for him every week.
I have questions. All right, so let's go to that. All right, so you happen to just be in the season where it's Sean Spicer. How was the cast with that? Did everybody did he ever address the elephant in the room, or
no?
He never did.
No. This is the thing. The fans do control some of the show, and that's, and that's just how it's
far longer than he ever should have.
Well, I will say it was nice that when I did get eliminated, I felt like, there was an article in the New York Times. I felt like there was mild and great outrage at my departure. So that felt nice. It's better, of course, to leave when people want you to stay.
Yes, yes.
Well, because you had to do a dance off with him, right? It was you
And I
and your
actually won
partner.
the dance off, but he still had more votes. So yeah. But then the following week they had an extra judge, and then so all the points counted more. So all the votes couldn't make up for the extra judges' points. So yeah. But again, I felt like so I only really missed 2 episodes. That's not that many.
Right. Okay, so
I was the oldest person for most of the competition. I feel very proud of myself.
It's unbelievable. And I also love, by the way, that there was just a touch of like comedy and whimsy in every single one of your dances, which I
loved your 9 to 5 dance.
So cute.
Sasha Poshkoff is the great. He's one of the newest pros, and he and his wife Daniela was with Nelly this season, and they did very well. They are 7-time national champs. They just left competition to come on World of Dance for a little bit, and then Dancing with the Stars. So they are just like, they're so overly qualified for the show. And they also won Blackpool, which, if you know any, they're international.
Listen, all these dancers, they're so amazing.
I felt like I didn't realize I was with somebody who was so currently like right off the world stage. Like, I'm like, oh my God, what? I felt like, why am I, this isn't it.
You go in and you're like, I'm so fucking sorry, but I'm so sorry.
But he's a great teacher, and he also understood the mental part about being a contestant and a champion, because it's like being with a world-class athlete. Like, they understand the mental part, and so much of it is mental.
So how did he help you with that? Like, what sort of things would he
do your job? I mean, there's so many things. He's like, we would run, like, sometimes we couldn't leave that Star Lounge when you get your votes, you're usually
right
up on that area in the back with the other stars, with Aaron. So we would like literally mentally run through the dance. We'd have a discussion about it. Or if there was a commercial break, we would literally run any part of the floor. We just do it. So he was just really good at keeping me in, like, don't pay attention too much to other people. Just like keep the focus on, because you really have to keep your eyes on your own paper. I mean, how can I compare myself? I'm 55 years old to like the Bachelorette, who's, Hannah Brown's like 26. And
right. And is he quietly, like when you guys go out there for the dance, because I've seen you watch some of the after, I don't know what you call it, but you can see they're like kind of talking to you quietly. I mean, you wouldn't probably hear that, but he's counting. I mean,
sometimes counting. Yes, for sure. Because sometimes it was like, oh my God, it was so like, I don't know. I mean, it's just so funny to me, because I remember we did one of the second last, oh no, maybe no, I can't remember what number it was. I think it was like the 5th or 6th dance I got to do it was a Viennese waltz to Whitney Houston.
Oh yes, I loved that. I almost teared up.
That was such a fun, oh my God, I felt that was like, that was one of my favorite dances ever. But what's interesting is that I used to wait tables at a Beverly Hills restaurant called Kate Manalini.
I knew you were going to say Kate Manalini. Okay. Anyways, go ahead.
I waited on Whitney Houston one time, and she was with Bobby Brown, and her bodyguard was trying to pick me up when I pick up the drinks at the bar. I was like, this is bizarre.
Circle.
Full circle. So Kate, can you remember, did you have a favorite dance?
That it may have been the Viennese waltz. That was really fun. I mean, because I love 9 to 5, but I felt like I kind of like, I felt like if I had to do it twice, if I had to do it one more time, I wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
Like, it was too hard.
The Viennese waltz was beautiful, and you looked beautiful. That dress was beautiful.
Yeah.
I did like the jive too, which I ended up doing the jive in the tour, and I got to do the Foxtrot, which was to Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon. We got to do that in the tour.
Oh yeah. So how does the tour come about?
Well, they had conversations before. They had to announce it on the last 2 episodes. So they had it like on the last episode, I mean. So yeah, they were asking if I was interested, and I was like, sure. And then they kept saying like, okay, well, how about 3 weeks? I was like, great. And then like, hey, we have 5 more days here. I'm like, sure. How about 10? So before I knew it, I had 54 shows. I couldn't even believe it.
Oh my God.
Sorry, easy.
And forgive me.
You're on a bus. I got and you're mostly on the bus. Like we did have we only had a hotel night one night a week, which is not very much. Because when
Okay,
I
so
Jane, we
this
were
was-
always in a hotel.
This is what I was going to ask because I don't know. I've never seen a Dancing with the Stars tour, so I don't know how it works. So, okay, wait a minute. Are you partners with Pasha the whole time?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
you are. All right. So you really are on a bus. It's so like 50s to get on a bus and go.
Not like Whoopi Goldberg though, because I had the bedroom in the back. I didn't have one of the sleeping compartments. I did have the bedroom, but it's still like a little rolly back there. It's just it's
Well,
not glamorous. But
How many bathrooms are on the bus?
one?
How many of you are on there?
I guess each bus has 9 people.
That I'm telling you right now,
Okay,
that would be my no reason. I cannot poop on a bus with 8 people that
Okay,
are
I
not
was
in my
just gonna
family.
say,
How- You can't poop on the bus. You gotta,
Oh,
so you gotta hold it. Or
so
you gotta
wait.
pull over.
Oh my God.
I was okay. So Lisa, you and I are the same because I literally all I could think of was I think I would be terribly constipated because I
Yep.
would never be able to poop in front of anybody. So you can't poop on the bus. Well, what happens if it's 2:00 in the morning and you're all on the road and you gotta shit?
You gotta figure it out, or you can ask them to pull over at a truck stop or something.
I'm not pooping at a truck stop.
I know. Well,
You know what?
This is what I'm saying to you, Kate.
Amazing.
Don't ask me to be on the tour. I'm going to say no.
The good thing is I think you and I are safe. Something tells me we're not
I
going
think
to.
so too. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, but I have to tell you, like the audience is like I don't think we played anything smaller than 2,500 people, and and Radio City Music Hall was sold out 6,000 people. So I get to do my own monologue that I write. I'm like, and get to two dances. I'm in the opening number and the closing number.
Wait, you do a monologue?
Yeah, I just did a bunch of jokes and.
I actually think it's pretty fantastic. I'm having visions of what's the movie where all the girls play baseball?
Oh yeah.
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own. I'm having like League of Their Own visions. Obviously, you were on a bus that was a little nicer than that, but like that's what I'm conjuring in my mind.
There's no crying and Dancing with the Stars.
No, and clearly there's no pooping either.
Not on the tour, baby. Not on the tour.
So do you feel like because of this tour and all of Dancing with the Stars, do you feel like you're in the best shape of your life?
I did. You know, it's funny. I was a little.
Of course, now you've been in quarantine for 9 months.
This week I was really sore. Like my first 2 days off of the tour, I was like, oh no, like, I was so sore. I was on ice, but I learned like I was doing ice baths like a couple days a week, and that helped. Like I got into it, but it was like at first I was like, oh my God, what have I done? But yeah, I still feel like I mean, I'm not dancing as much because of COVID, but I'm
right?
And moving and I'm doing Pilates, which I never thought I'd be doing that. I could definitely step up my cardio these days, but I do feel like at least what I learned too is like the more I take care of myself, the more I can do. So I feel like to be in better shape is not like it's not like I'll show you. It's like, oh my God, if I don't do this, I'm not gonna be able to do the things I really want to do.
Absolutely.
So
Lisa, do you want to see the word Peloton just so your friend can have a drink right now?
Yeah, sure. Peloton.
Lisa's a huge Peloton person.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
I'm so sorry. I got an elliptical, but it's actually I got a Bowflex elliptical. I did not get a Peloton.
you made the wrong choice, Kate. I hate to tell you. That's okay. Listen, when you were on tour with Ralph, was that for the Brady show?
Yes. And that's the last time I was on a rock and roll bus for that too. And then Jane Lynch and I were on a bus we had a bus 2 Christmases ago because we did two big, but yeah, Ralph and I were on tour for like 5
So
minutes.
this whole bus thing comes like you having to hold it. That comes very naturally to you.
It's I had like a 20, almost 30-year break. I mean, dear God. Yeah, we did that tour in 1994. And I mean, that was like, I think it was literally the old Allman Brothers, like Greg Allman, the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
We got it and it was old back in 94.
Oh, I love it.
We
Who
mostly
did you play in the whole Brady Bunch thing?
Well, I was the non-Brady person because I was Jane's understudy, and then I was the second Alice in the original cast. And then when the tour came, I couldn't do it because of Second City, but then I ended up becoming Mrs. Brady in the tour. So, but I had a great time. I did.
How fun!
It was really fun.
So fun. All right, so let me ask you, completely off everything, but COVID, have you recognized, like, have you discovered anything really annoying about yourself during COVID? I have.
I was gonna say, I mean, do you want a list? Oh my God. This is the thing. There's so many distractions I've created for myself in my life, and yeah, they're not here anymore. But I will say there's been more gifts
Yeah.
than deterrents for sure. Because I realized like I showed up for a lot of things and I was like, wow, what was I like? I had a lot of FOMO before this, and I'm kind of glad that the game has changed because I realized I twisted myself in a pretzel to get to parties or somebody's premiere, or like want to make sure someone knew I was supporting them or whatever was going on in my head. So I'm grateful for just time to kind of, you know, be in my living room and talk to you. So I'm not wasting 2 hours to drive somewhere and back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You know,
will COVID have created in you an ability to say no a little bit more then?
I hope so. I hope so.
Do you want to call me
Yeah.
when you feel like saying yes to something you shouldn't, like a Bowflex?
I actually, I have to tell you though, I do have envy, Valley envy. I do have Valley envy, you guys.
What
Why?
about?
Because it's like, it's a little Mayberry where you guys are, you know, and I mean, Mayberry where you could be at the Ralphs and possibly see somebody that was on TV when you were a little kid.
That is true, actually.
Good. Or you could see the
Where you
homeless
go.
guy that lives on Vineland.
That's true as
all the
well.
time.
That's
I
amazing. That's what, you know what I mean? It's like, there's something
know.
very homegrown about the Valley.
Sure, there is. There
Do you
is.
love living in Los Angeles? Do you ever think about moving back home, like back to the East Coast?
You know, I don't think I could do what I do there. I just,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know I've been touring a lot lately, but last few years. But even still, yeah, I mean, it's still beautiful here. My boyfriend's from here. We've been together for almost 15 years. I met him on The Office. He's dancing with Meredith during Dwight and Angela's wedding when Michael Scott and Dwight are dancing.
Oh, I love that.
Photographer, right?
Yeah, he became the photographer in the scene where they revealed Pam's mural. So he actually has some lines.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, we met on the show. He's the greatest. So I feel like he's here. His kids are here. You know, I feel like we're, you know, I mean, he's in Redondo. I'm in K-Town. So we don't live together. But
Oh,
we're
you've
really
been
happy.
together for 15 years and you don't live together.
Live together. That's brilliant. It's like, I feel like Carol Burnett at some point, I remember gotten married in her life and she was like, and my husband lives next door. Like,
What? I didn't say about her.
You know what? Maybe I'm making it up, but I'm almost positive I saw an interview with her where she talked about being married, but the husband they didn't live together. And I was like, that's brilliant. Now I'm going to go look it up on Google and maybe I've made the whole fucking thing up.
Absolutely. Do you think, and then we're going to let you go because you've been incredibly generous with your time, but do you think that's continuing? Like, do you think one of the reasons that there's been so much longevity in your relationship is because you don't live together?
Maybe, you know, I mean, we met, you know, obviously we were both in our 40s when we met. So, but you know, I think for right now, and also like he was married for 15 years and he married someone he went to high school with. So I feel like, or somebody he knew from high school. So I feel like he didn't have that time before he got married. So he's like enjoying that. Like, that chair goes there, whether you like it or not.
Right.
So, and I'm fine with that. And I feel like whenever anything gets stressful between us, it's like, I'll just go home. I'll see you later.
You know what?
Like, I'm going home. Yeah.
I truly admire that. And I think now for me, having been married and had kids, I think that's exactly the kind of relationship that I would love to have, you know, where you sort of have your life together and you can sort of have a little bit of life together separate of one another.
Yeah, although I will say
healthy.
when the pandemic first started, I was like, oh my God, maybe we should be living together. Maybe this is too weird that we're so far apart. Because it was a little freaky.
Right.
You know, especially that first 6 weeks of lockdown was so scary.
Yeah.
Did you stay locked down from one another or did you stay together?
We would just see each other on weekends, which is mostly what we do. But you know, just because, and then when the riots were happening, we were together. I was like, oh my God, it's just.
especially because of where you live, where you're like, did you go to him or did he come
I
to
went to him.
you?
Yeah, I went to him.
Yeah.
I mean, my place, I mean, Koreatown really wasn't affected as
Oh, it wasn't. Okay.
it's not, there aren't enough stores to rip down, I don't know, like
That's true.
the storm, but it's, I think you gotta just, I think that the good news is like, it's the idea of there are all these myths about relationships. And if both people are honest about not living together is really okay. Not one people like, oh, it's fine, but it's not.
Yes,
That's the
absolutely.
problem, because then someone's really just like, they're kind of just waiting for you to come like to get over it.
I love it. I think it's a great model for people who feel like, that relationships can only be one thing, but they can be very different. And I think that's fantastic.
No, it's a beautiful thing. No, I'm like one of the luckiest people I know. I mean, in every aspect. And like I said, I feel like it's an embarrassment of riches, you guys.
Well,
Seriously.
you come across as very grateful for all of your riches, which is.
I was just going to say, not only that, you are so grounded and so authentic. And I really appreciate, by the way, that I said to Lisa, I was like, I would love to have Kate Flannery on the show, but I have not talked to her in a couple of years. And even the time that we spent together was so, limited. It really was. Even though we played sisters,
Right.
I felt like you and I screamed at each other for like 2 days and then that was it. So I was like, but I'm going to reach out. I mean, I had nothing to lose but to text you.
I'm so
and
glad
say,
you
"What'd
did.
you do?"
I told you, when I was on tour, Dancing with the Stars, I brought oregano oil and Emergency, your secret trick to not getting sick. And oh my gosh.
I know. I love that she brought that because she literally flew into Atlanta and we were like screaming at each other on set. And then it was like, does she have enough time? Is she going to make it to the airport to get home?
Wow.
She was like flying all over the place and she wasn't feeling great. And I was like, oh, let me make you one of my little concoctions. And I was like, it's absolutely fucking disgusting. Just down it. And I promise you'll feel better.
And it worked.
I love it. I love it. You brought oregano oil.
You're such a mama bear and I really appreciate it. Seriously,
you're so welcome.
I think I had to leave and come back twice for that episode, which is so funny. And it was during the eclipse, so I was on the plane during the eclipse.
Oh yeah,
so weird.
How funny!
Y'all went outside and stared up for a couple hours. By the way, if anybody's listening and they're wondering, so I am a big advocate for, I just want to tell everybody, oregano oil. You can get it from doTERRA or Young Living, or I guess you can find it at Whole Foods. And you mix a little like an Emergency with oregano oil, or at least this is how I do it. An Emergency, which is fairly yummy. Put like 4 drops of oregano oil and some ginger and cayenne and anything else that you can think is good, lemon, whatever, and then just freaking shoot it like it's a shot of tequila. It's fucking, and you gotta chase it with something.
It works. And we had this conversation. Maybe it'll even cure COVID. Maybe.
Yes.
Because a few times I'm like,
I do it.
I do too.
I still do it. I do it because, well, ultimately, I just think oregano oil is a natural antibiotic. So and I'm not a crazy, wacky person, but it really is a natural antibiotic and is good for your body. So
it's true. And you kind of smell like a pizza afterwards. So people leave you alone. So it's
absolutely do. Kate, I really am. I'm so grateful that you saw my text and you immediately texted me back. I even gave you an out. I said, it's like, seriously, you don't have to feel obligated.
No, your timing was good. Your timing was perfecto.
I have to say one of the beauties of COVID is that Lisa and I were able to do the show and everybody's sitting on their ass in their house. So it's a little easier to get people to do this.
Exactly.
So I truly appreciate you giving us your time.
Oh my God. Thank you guys. You're both so lovely. I feel like all I did was talk. I didn't ask you anything. I'm so
You're not supposed to ask us anything, but you know what? You're adorable for even thinking so. You're the girl that I invite over. And of course you're going to bring like a cake or a casserole or something because you're so thoughtful.
We love you, Kate Flannery. Thank you so much. And everybody should catch The Office on Peacock.
Yep.
For
all right.
And my comedy act, The Lampshades, we're doing a live show. We haven't done a show in a year and a half, but we're doing a live show at Forest Lawn on February 6th. It's for charity.
Wait, at Forest Lawn, the cemetery?
Yeah.
Will it also be on Zoom?
Oh my
I don't know, but it's going to be like a drive-in. So like, it's going to be like, you can listen to it in your car on a radio.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm
Amazing.
going to text you and then you'll tell me when that will be. And then we'll, of course, because we have such a massive audience.
Stop doing that. We do.
I can't
They're
help it.
huge.
That's that sort of part of my personality that like, I'm just, self-deprecating and,
I know it's okay.
can't help it.
What? It's good. This is a good, we're all just going to push you over the line. So
Exactly right.
Thank
Exactly.
All right, honey, go. Your home is beautiful, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you so much. So great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Now I have to go look up the whole Carol Burnett thing because I think I'm an asshole.
You have to let yourself
Okay.
out, Meredith.
Hey,
Meredith.
leave.
Meredith. I just called her Meredith.
It's okay. I answered that, and I've been called worse.
I'm sure.
I said, we had oh, she left. I was gonna say we had the funniest show with Wendy McClendon Covey, who was like, yeah, I'm not leaving. Oh no, I'm leaving. No, I'm not.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. Okay, so
She's
first of all, not only
fantastic. I don't even know her that well, but she really is so authentic and so lovely. Oh yeah,
so
my sign
authentic
is
and
back.
lovely, but I am also fascinated by how her family was so instrumental in creating who she is as an artist.
Instrumental, supportive.
I love
like
it.
She had a village.
I really
That's
love
amazing.
that. And it just says something about, support doesn't always come in the form of, sure, honey, whatever you need. Here's money. Here's this. Here's that. I'll drive you there. Sometimes it's, no, if you want that, you have to work for it.
Aunt Anne. I think her name was Anne.
Yes.
Her Aunt Anne, who sounded like a phenomenal woman.
Who
who's
saw
like,
something.
"Come live with me."
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, please join us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, sign up for notifications. Come be a part of our Leslie and Lisa Show after party on Facebook. Follow us on social media, Leslie Boone, Lisa Arch, and be a part of our community. Comment, ask questions. We are here. We want to interact with you.
That was a phenomenal pitch. I love when I get to stay.
Less. And I think that's it because we got to go because it's enough already
That's
with
it.
us.
And as we will always say, love you, Lise.
Love you, Les.